to launch it in Facebook right now. I will stop my sharing right now. It done. The floor is yours. If I handed over I will stop my share right.
Okay, nice. So just nice.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
If I handed over I will stop my share right.
Okay, nice. Okay. So, hi everyone. Thank you for being here. I would like to start by giving my thanks to Mr. Driss Drif, our president of Club des Dirigeants, for all the opportunities that he gave us to meet experts from all over the world. Today, our meeting is with Mr. Mohammed Ben Shukroun, who is a business lecturer in China.
Exactly.
And he is every Saturday giving us a new concept of learning English by discovering, by sharing his knowledge. Last time, we have learned about Japan. We have discovered Japan, and we have learned English with discovering Japan.
Oh, yeah.
And today, we will discover something new.
I hope so.
With Mr. Ben Shukroun. He's always giving us every time something new, something amazing, and a big learning. Thank you, Mr. Mohammed. And I'm happy to be with you, to listen and to learn from you this evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before starting, could you please unlock and give me the possibility to share my screen? Because
okay.
I don't have this access to share my screen.
Could you test please now?
Oh, yes, now it's working. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, good. So, first of all, Mr. President, Mr. Drif, how are you? I'm very happy to meet you once again.
How are you too? I am fine, and you?
Yeah, fine. You are so handsome, so gentleman.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I am here.
Yeah, I know. Thank you so much. Thank you for your presence. So. Miss Sharifa Swisi, how are you?
Fine. I'm very fine, and I'm happy to learn from you today.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your enthusiasm and your capacity to express a lot of joy and happiness. Thank you so much. Thank you for your introduction. And so I would like to welcome everyone for this session, for this webinar. Today, we will not describe a country. Today, it's more related to the company. And we will talk about how can we, it's related to the one of the most challenge that every seller has to face in his company. So today we'll focus on the business, on the organization, on the inside of the organization, and especially the challenge that every entrepreneur, every seller has to face, which is his capacity to close a sale, his capacity to push the customer to buy definitely and to give his check or to give his cash or to give his money. Because as we know, the most difficult part in selling is not to prospect, is not only to contact the potential customer. Of course, we have the first step, which is to create the argumentation, after to target the market, to identify the potential customer based on different criteria. But the most difficult thing is after selling, after approaching the customer, after holding several meetings, sending email, convincing, the most difficult is to close the sale, is to let him really finally buy from you, which is the really most difficult part. And it's very important to try to share some knowledge, some skills about this. So for today, my process or my strategy is called NUT process. And this webinar I already hosted maybe 2 years ago in front of Chinese managers. And it was very interesting to share it with my with the Moroccan audience, Moroccan executives, Moroccan seller, and Moroccan entrepreneur, Moroccan economic players. So NUT process here is about the strategy or the selling approach to optimize the chance to close the sale, the chance to get new customers, and to enlarge the turnovers, and finally the quantitative objectives to any seller or entrepreneur. So first of all, we will try to analyze this NUT process based on this diagram. So we have to understand that we have two indicators. We have the resistance of whom, against who, or against what. So there is the resistance of the customer to buy, okay? And the goal of any seller is try to overcome the objections, to overcome the obstacles, to overcome the resistance from your potential customer until he buy. So at the beginning of any selling prospection, the level of the resistance is extremely high. When you start, the customer he perceives himself as the king because he has the purchasing power. He has in the market, there are many competitors. So of course that he will be, the customer is always dominant in the negotiation. And so he will start with the high objection by underrating or undervaluing your offer, your service, or your product. Always. No matter who is the customer, no matter in which activity sector you are selling, or no matter the identity of the customer, whether he is the consumer, like individual, means B2C, whether he is the organization, B2B, or whether he's the government, B2J. When we start, the objection is high, and the goal and the challenge of any seller is try to decrease. Moreover he decrease and overcome and answer to the objections, and moreover he can achieve the goal to push the customer to buy and to close the sale. But for any difficulties, to any strategy, to any difficulty, to any challenge, to any issue, we need to establish a strategy. We need to be extremely smart and strategic in our way to facing our issues. And these issues is called the NUT. First of all, before starting, I would like to share with you finally, the main excuses or the main causes or the main arguments that push the customers after the projections to reject the offer. Like after you prospect, at the beginning say, finally, I won't buy from you because of these excuses, because of this reason. And finally, they are just the apparent excuses. Ce sont seulement des excuses apparentes. But the deep reason that the buyer didn't give his money to you, it's only because you have failed on overcoming, on answering to the objections, on identifying the need, and you have failed on selling successfully. So the main excuse are first the money. They will always tell you, oh, I'm so sorry, but I think I didn't bring my money today. Maybe give me time to think, or we are living a crisis today during this moment. So my priority is not to buy your item, or maybe later I will do it. Sometimes when the customers say, I don't have money, this is just the apparent reason. It's just an excuse. It's just because you haven't succeeded on selling your item. And the second excuse is the time. They will tell you, oh, sorry, I don't have time right now. Give me some 2 days or 1 week to think, to talk with my family, to share your idea to my partners, and then I will come back to you. Money, time, we have to understand that they are just the result of your failure, of your selling processing. Because once the customer comes to you, once the customer accepts to negotiate with you, once the customer comes to your office, come to your store, it means that he is interested, he has the need, he has the money, and he has a time. Always. If he really doesn't have the money, or if he doesn't have the time, he won't spend or focus or give you this chance to convince him. So money and time, they are just the excuses. And the deep reason is that you have failed on selling and on identifying the need. So NUT process will try to give us some tools in order to avoid this scenario, to avoid this situation that will push the customer to say, okay, I'm sorry, I have to go, or finally, I think it's too expensive and I don't have money. No, it's not enough expensive for the customers. It's about priorities. You have to put your items on the priorities of the customers. This is the main goal, and this is what the NUT process will try to convince. So for the NUT, the N is need. First of all, we have to identify the need of the customer. You, can you tell me what means you? Can you tell me what is the you? It's urgency. We have to sell by urgency. And the T, can you tell me? Can you guess, please?
I think it's time, no?
Time is time.
No, it's not the time. It's not the time. Go ahead, come on.
Miss Asia, your
Target?
answer?
Yeah, I was about to tell the same thing. I guess it's time, but it might be techniques, something else.
No, it's not the time. We already talked about the time. No, it's not the time.
She said maybe techniques?
No, it's not. No, no, no. It's the very easy, very simple. It's
Team?
trust.
Trust. Okay.
Yeah.
I had an answer from Facebook. They say team, so it's trust for Facebook.
Yes, exactly. It's the first one. The first factor that we have to clarify before starting the prospection is to identify the need of your customer. Your items your selling process should always in the personalized approach. Your items can be sold to many people in many targets in many geographical locations. It's true, it can be universalized, but in your approach, it should be always personalized. By this personalization in your approach, you have to detect the need of your customer. Every customer has his specific need. So before starting your selling, you need to do some analysis of his personality. You need to do an analysis of his history. You need to do an analysis of the company. And based on this diagnostic, you have to guess what kind of needs the customers will hide. Because in the big business, the customers will never show you his real need. Because in business, showing and clarify the need is to finally to show your weaknesses for the customers. He has to hide the need in order to dominate the selling negotiation, and to underrating and to show you that finally your items is not so important for him, that will push you as a seller to finally say, oh my God, I have to decrease the price. I have to align myself to his restrictions. Je dois m'aligner à ses restrictions. Okay, let's start. This is a very obvious strategy that every customer is doing. But the intelligence and the smartness of the customers, of the seller, is to guess, is to identify the need. But how? By doing some diagnosis before. You need to analyze him. You have to study him, his environment, his services, his company, and based on the essay, okay, why he has accepted this negotiation. And based on my techniques or technical characteristics and argumentation, what kind of points can really touch him, can really satisfy him. Once the seller succeeds on this first step, he decreases the curve of the resistances. And he says, oh, this guy is smart. This seller is smart. This seller knows me. The seller has identified and detected what I really need. Even I hide it. That's amazing. And then your credibility improves. from your clients, and he saw you more credible, more professional, and finally more distinctive. Because based on your psychological skills, you have built an argument, a specific and personalized selling speech, which has been adapted to the need of your customer. And then you will charm him. And then you will convince him. And you know, it's same for our personal relationship. If you want to charm your lover, if you want to charm your wife or your girlfriend, you have to know, based on her history, based on her emotional situation, what kind of attitude she's expecting from her potential husband. And once you know the need, her need, and the characteristic of the man she's looking for, then you can say that you built an amazing land to charm her. So it's same. You need to consider your client as your lover, and you need to charm him. Charm him by identifying what he doesn't need. Because most of the customers, they know their need, but they will never show it to you, because showing it is showing his weaknesses. But there are small proportion of the customers that finally they don't know their need. And if you are able to, based on the speech, on the conversation, say, I think based on, according to your situation, you need to develop this business, and my service will help you to cover your failure or your weaknesses. And they say, oh, yes, you help me. So then you are more than a simple seller. You are a consultant. You are an expert, because you have identify new needs and a new solution to make his business to expand and to be enlarged. So that's why my advice about the need is never have some universal or classical selling approach. Always personalization. Even your service is universal, is classical, is standardized. Even your service is standard, but your speech, your selling speech should be personalized. And this personalization should be emanated from the back office, backstage, to analyze and to decipher. Voilà, this is the word, déchiffrer, to decipher the needs of your customer. Saying that, once you identify the need, then we move to another U, which is urgence. What means say l'urgence? And then you have to sell by urgency. And then please, I want to have more your attention. We have two selling strategies, very simple and standard. We have the first one that most of the people do, most of the people adopt in their perspective, in their approach, in the selling approach, which is the selling by gain. We have the first one is the selling by gain, but this is not urgency. What do you mean by selling by gain? It means I'm selling this telephone, this smartphone, and then I will show you the good advantages of this smartphone. And then I will try to convince you based on what you will win by buying from me. Donc, c'est la vente par le gain. C'est montrer ce que le client va gagner. C'est the selling by gain. I will show you what you will win, what kind of value you will acquire once you cooperate with me in terms of economic added value, commercial added value, immaterial added value, and all of the positive impact that your service of your product will put in the environment from the customer. But this is not selling by gain. And this is not, it will not be useful and efficient if you are living in very strict and extremely competitive markets. If you are living with a competitive market, that you have a lot of competitors who are selling the same characteristic of your item, the selling by gain will not be so useful, and they will not optimize your selling objectives. And you will not optimize the capacity of attracting your customer in your site. But the second one, the second approach, it will be more useful, which is called the selling by pain. Et là, c'est la vente par défaut, par la contrainte, or the selling by pressure. It's more risky. It's less diplomatic approach. You can touch his ego. Tu peux toucher son ego. You can touch his pride. But it could be useful if you are in the dominated position. And what do I mean by selling by pain? It's to show him that, look, mister, I respect that you are not so interested in cooperating with me, but you have to understand that I am the leader in my market. I have some huge experience in my expertise. And nobody in this environment, they can compete with me. So if you don't cooperate with me, you will not achieve your goals, because I am the leader. Because I am the one who will let you improve yourself. So if you don't cooperate with me and you cooperate with the other, I will show you what you will lose. This approach is more risky, but you have to use it when you see that the customers, he's maintaining his resistance. When you see that the resistance of the customer is high, is extremely high, then you can use this selling by pain. Even you hurt his ego, even you hurt and you touch his pride, no matter, because you have nothing to lose, because you will almost lose this transaction. Then you should use the pain. Look what you will lose. I am the best. You need me. You more need me than I need you. Look at my references. Look, who is this guy? This is your competitor, right? This is the leader in your expertise, and he's cooperating with me. So if the leader of your market or of your sector of activity is cooperating with me, why not you, smaller? You will not do that. This is selling by pain. And sometimes this is selling by urgency. Hey, I don't have time. If you don't cooperate now, you will lose. You know why? Because your competitors will use my innovation, because your competitors will buy my solutions, and then they will advance you. And therefore, they will gain more market share than you. Because everyone in your sector will buy my solution, because my solution is attractive, will cover a need in your environment. Donc, c'est ça ce qu'on appelle la vente à l'urgence, selling by pain. To show him that he needs you more than you need him. To show him that finally, if he doesn't use your solution, he will be the biggest loser, because all his competitors will advance him thanks to your service. And if you succeed on this approach, then you decrease amazingly the curve of the resistance and of the objections. And then you will be close. You will be closer and closer to the objective to close the sale. Do you have any questions?
Anyone has any question for Mr. Benchkroon?
Okay, let's move on.
You can just raise your hand. Otherwise, we can continue.
Excellent. So let's move on. Okay. Therefore, after that, after you cover the need, you sell by the urgency, using these two ways, selling by gain, selling by pain. Selling by gain, which we show the good advantage of using my item. Showing by pain, show you what he will lose by not contracting, not having this, by not cooperating with you. And therefore, yes, you have a question about selling by pain. Yes, Khadija, Miss Khadija, I'm listening.
Yeah. Hello, Mr. Muhammad.
Hello.
Yeah, I just want to ask you about selling by pain. You've mentioned before that you should, as condition, you should be dominate in your environment. So when we have not this condition, we cannot, we cannot negotiate with our customers, right?
Can you repeat your question, please?
You've mentioned before that if you want to selling by pain,
yes,
you should have some condition is to be dominate in your environment, in your market.
Yeah.
But if you're not, I think that we cannot use this method, right?
Exactly. Very good question. Thank you so much. Naturally, if you are really in the real situation, like in the real life, you are dominant based on the innovation that you have acquired, and also based on the high level of attractivity that your service is enjoyed, then you can start by selling by pain. You know why? Because this is the natural approach. Because you are so comfortable, you have a lot of space, you have this charisma, this natural leadership that your service was given to you. On the contrary, if you are not dominant, as you say, what does it mean? You are not dominant. It means you are selling something which is not valuable, which is not distinctive in terms of technicity. Like you are selling a pen, or you are selling this glass, like it's not, or this pencil. A lot of people are selling it, right? It's not so useful, it's not so valuable. Like if it doesn't buy from you, you can find it in another place. Therefore, if you are in this situation, the selling by pain should be the last approach that you have between your hand in order to attract him. You start with selling by gain. You start with the diplomatic way, but if you feel that you will almost lose him, and then you feel that you will lose everything, that you have nothing to lose, then you could use the selling by pain. But to be honest with you, there is some correlation between the efficiency of selling by pain and the high level of the innovation of your item. What do I mean by that? Moreover your service, your product, your solution is innovative, and moreover, your selling by pain will be successful. And less over you are innovative, and less over the probability of selling by pain can be done successfully. That's why, of course, when you're a seller, if you're selling something which is valuable, you have more chances. So if you are not dominant, use the selling by pain as the last strategy as a last approach. من بعد أخوة, is it clear?
Yeah, it is. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move after the urgency. We have trust, and here, this is very strategic and primordial and very important, because if you don't inspire trust in the professional world, you can do nothing in your environment, or at least you can do small things, because no matter the sophistication of the contract, no matter the high level of the jurisdiction or the justice systems in the country, if you don't inspire trust in the environment, nobody will desire to work with you. No matter you are worker, entrepreneur, engineer, professor, seller, or something, trust is capital. But the question is, how to inspire trust? How to let your buyer desiring to cooperate with you, even despite of the low level of the jurisdictions, and you know, the trust is more capital in the developing countries situations. For example, Morocco. Sorry. As I said, the trust and the reliabilities are more important in the developing countries, because, as you know, it will be very hard for us to get our due. If you are cheated by your partners, then you are very careful about the reputation of your partners without cooperating with him. That's why, even if, listen carefully, even if your item, what you are selling, is not so valuable, is not so innovative, but on the contrary, your level of trust is extremely high, it could be a reason to sell more and to let the buyer choose you. The trust is as important as the technicities and the innovation and the value of your product, because he knows that the soft skills are as important as the hard skills. And in the context like Morocco, the developing country, the trust is capital, because we don't want to waste time to deal with the cheaters and to lose our due, because we know that if once we will sue to justice, maybe because of the corruption, because of the bureaucracy, because of the very slow process, you will waste time and money. That's why before you contract with the people, before you buy, you ask from this person trust, ladies and gentlemen, and how to inspire trust and how to be reliable, because reliability could save you even what you are selling is not so valuable. And here it's about about your individual action, your individual and daily relationship that you maintain with your environment. It's about your level of honesty, your level of loyalty, your level of kindness, and your level of your professionalism that you show, that you express, that you acted in your daily life. When you promise something, you have to take it. Because once you take it, your trust, your reliability increase. But when you don't take your promise, your reliability decrease. Because in the trust, we have the reputation. This is the first factor which gives you trust and reliability. C'est la réputation. Ta réputation, your reputation. What means reputation? It's what the people think of you. Qu'est-ce que les gens pensent de toi? And I have experienced it in my life when I was in China. In China, before the people work with you, before the people hire you, before the people cooperate with you, he will make the introspection. He will talk about you. Do you know Muhammad? Do you know Mr. Driv, the president of CDD? Do you know this person? Do you know this guy? What do you think about him? Do you think that he's reliable? I can't trust him. I can't give him my money. I can't give him my capital. And if this guy say yes, significantly you decrease the resistance. Even if your product is not so important, and on the contrary, if the people behind you say, no, don't trust Muhammad, don't trust Momo, don't trust this person, even if your product is so attractive, they will not work with you. That's definitely they will not cooperate with you. That's why we have to be very careful and consider your reputation in the market. And your reputation is built on your daily relationship that you maintain with your environmental people, with your classmates, with your colleagues, with your boss, with your clients, with your suppliers, with every people, with every economic player. And you know, especially when you are a supplier. For example, in China, when a Chinese supplier, for example, I'll give you an example. When a Chinese supplier, Chinese factory is dealing with one Moroccan importer, with Moroccan buyer, and this Chinese supplier finally didn't respect the engagement based on the time of production, shipping date, cost, request, requirement, and didn't respect, and he was not so honorable. What will happen for him? Maybe the supplier will win by cheating, but what will happen for this Chinese supplier is that no any possibility for him to deal with other Moroccan importer, because this guy, this Moroccan buyer who has been cheated or who has been unsatisfied, he will tell to all his environment that this Chinese supplier is not so reliable, don't work with him. And when you are in this situation, believe me, even the huge amount of the advertising that you can invest on valorizing your image, it will not be so efficient. The best the best advertising of your company is the satisfaction of your customers. C'est ce qu'on appelle du bouche à oreille. Do you agree? What do you think about that?
Let's share your opinion about what we have learned just right now.
Yeah, not like if there is some remarks on questions.
If you have any question, you can just raise your hand or just write it in the chat zone. We will forward it to Mr. Benschkroon, or for the Facebook followers, you can just write your question in the comments and we will forward it here.
Okay, good. So this is reputation. Another factor to inspire trust is finally your achievements. Now we will move on from the soft factor related to your image to the hard factor, your achievements. Ça veut dire tes réalisations. And here it's about your resources, factor resources, references, innovation, and so on. And another one is your references, your resources. Like if you have many industrial units and you have many employers, like have 1,000 employers in your factory, you have a high level of your innovation, you have the accreditation, les accréditations, the specification, therefore you inspire trust and your reliability increase. This is based on your performance, based on your achievements. And the second one is your references. It's as I say, if you already work with the leader of the market, when the follower or the outsider will come to you, he will be naturally in the dominated position. You will tell him, look, if you don't want me, my dear friend, I'm already working with your leader. And then, therefore, you are amazing in the amazing position. This is the same. It's a remind me, the position of Morocco with China. As I say, we have an amazing argument with Chinese people, with Chinese government to increase our reliability. Is that we can only say to them that our first foreign employer in Morocco is not France, is not USA, is not UK. You know who is? Is Japan. And who is Japan? He's your idol. He's your leader. He's your inspirational model, right? Because you have to understand that for Chinese people, Japan is the idol for Chinese people. So if you tell them, I already cooperate with Japanese factories, already 70,000 companies, 70,000 Japanese companies are implemented in Morocco. If you don't want to cooperate with us, it doesn't matter. You are the loser. This is selling by pain. That's why I told you, moreover you are dominant, moreover you have argument, and moreover you can selling by pain and show your leadership. Right? Is it clear? Do you agree? This is trust, ladies and gentlemen. This is trust. This is really being strong in your negotiation. Selling by intimidating, avec l'intimidation. And tout à la fois être respectueux. Meanwhile, maintaining the respect. I have, my background is so huge that I can naturally increase my selling. You show your leadership. You express your confidence. This is the best way to deal, and not to come with your head down. Okay, sir, anyhow, please, can you buy? I have a lot of charge or expenses to cover. Believe me, you will be satisfied. This is not selling. This is not selling. Ça veut dire mendier. Selling is by showing confidence, being smart, strategic, identify the need, adapt your approach. Selling by gain, selling by pain, showing the urgency, showing your domination, showing your importance. And of course, your reputation, your image will be behind you, will help you. Either your achievements. NUT process is identifying the need, selling by urgency, inspire the trust, and therefore, this is one of the most efficient process to, at the same time, decreasing the resistance, overcoming the objections, and avoiding the situation that he will tell you at the end of your prospection, I don't have money, I don't have time, which are the apparent reasons. Thank you so much for your time, for your listening. This lecture is inspired by Victor Antonio, which is a selling American coach that you can follow him from YouTube. And this NUT process has been inspired from his lecture. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Benchpon. Please, we have here a question by Taha, who he has a question about reputation. So Taha, you can...
Yes, so thank you, Mohammed Ben Shukran, for your fantastic lecture. Thank you so much. Always you're the best from my perspective. So my question is about reputation. I think you were absolutely right when you said companies need to focus on reputation and trust. I think your case is applied on the big companies, for historical companies. There is, however, an issue with the new companies. How a new company can build trust? It's new in the market. How the customer can trust this company?
Exactly. Excellent question. Always your intervention are so remarkable, and thank you so much. Very relevant. You are definitely right that if you are working in the, as you say, historical companies, that finally what you are selling, it's selling by himself, doesn't need you, of course. But the intelligence and the smartness and finally the strategy of the expert, of the selling expert, is trying to push to the up the new company, because you have, as I said, less resources, you have less references, and these two factors will not help you to inspire trust. And here, as I said, always, when you are at the beginning of your company, you need to accept all or most of the restrictions for your customers. Your first customers, finally, are your first partners, because these partners, this first customer will help you to grow, to enlarge your profit margin, and to gain more. At the beginning, my advice to any entrepreneur, don't think of gaining. Think on building the reputation. When you're dealing with your first customers, don't think if I am winning economically or losing economically. Don't care. Don't care. This is wrong approach. The real approach is to thank him because he trusts you even without any experience, because nobody knows you. Nobody trusts you before, and this guy trusts you. You need to thank him. And that's why you need to deploy all the effort, all your energy on satisfying him. Because once you satisfy your first customers, despite of losing economically, or despite of not winning, or despite of decreasing your profit margin, you are the big winner. Because due to this first reference, then you can be more powerful on increasing your profit margin and satisfy and prospecting and close a sale with the second customers. Of course, when you are at the beginning, when you are, when you are a baby born company, I don't know if this expression is correct, but if you are newborn, then don't think on making money. Think of course, cover your expenses, but the most important, building sustainable cooperation by satisfying your customers, and by satisfying him, you can develop a very good image, which will help you to enlarge your turnover, increase your profit margin, and then being more and more dominant. Of course, the domination in the prospections is not born. It will not come to you by opening your by opening your company. It's progressive. It's gradual. It's little by little you become dominant. At the beginning, you have to follow. You have to accept all the restrictions from your customers. It's same as a student. Always I say to the new graduate student from the business school engineer, I say, don't think of salary. Even they give you 4,000 Moroccan currency, because your profiling is not so strong enough to impose your restrictions. Show your reliability. Show your added value. Show your importance. And little by little, by expressing your professionalism, then you can impose your restriction and ask for the increasing of your salary. The same approach, it should be made by an entrepreneur. Definitely. At the beginning, you accept everything from your partner because you need him more than he needs you. But after you invest on innovation, you build a good image and reputation, then you can be stronger and stronger and impose your restrictions. And therefore, selling by pain.
Yes. Thank you, Mohammed. Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammed, and thank you, Taha, for your question. We can have other questions if you need more clarification, or you have a question about what we have seen this evening about NUT process, or about selling strategies. There was waiting new questions. So when you were talking about being dominant, so why you don't have a reputation in your field? You have to choose the strategy of selling by gain, because we could not use the selling by pain, neither selling by emergency. We have the best strategy to choose is selling by gain.
Yeah, I already answered to these questions to Miss Khadija. Like to be very short, there is correlation, like une corrélation, like proportionalité. There is a proportionality, sorry, between the level of your innovation and finally the success part of selling by pain. Moreover you are dominant, moreover you are innovative, and moreover the selling by pain could be useful and efficient. On the contrary, if you are selling something common, then selling by gain should be the priority and selling by pain should be the last option in order to attract your customer.
Yes, it's very clear. So, I have here a question in Facebook.
Yeah.
They say how to find customers.
Oh,
it's a large question. It's a big question.
Amazing. Thank you.
But I had to forward it to you.
Thank you. Amazing question. Like this is, it's like how to be happy, how to be successful, how to find a job. No. How to find customers. We need it's not related to this to the subject of the objective learning of this lecture, because it's so large that he should specify. Like, okay, for this person, I don't know whether he's a seller or something. If he has some difficulty to sell, if you have difficulty to sell and you fail, then you should make a break and then do some introspection, analysis to see what's wrong. Faire un diagnostic. You make a break. Okay, je vais droit au mur. I'm not on the right direction. I'm wasting my time. And then, okay, now hold on. This failing experience could be an opportunity to learn. And then it's related to the capacity by doing the introspection to detect what was wrong in my selling approach. It's whether my product, whether my target, I didn't target well my market, whether my personalities, my appearance, my substantial speech. And anyway, you need to hold on, to make a break and to do the introspection, to analyze in which part, like in which side you have to improve yourself. You have to improve the content or the substance of your product. Maybe your product is not adapted to the market, or you need to analyze well, study well the market by targeting with more accuracy your customers. Maybe you are not targeting your potential customers, or it's about your selling approach. It could be about your appearance, your formal communication with your body language is not good. The words you use is not good. The facial expressions are not good, or in your speech, your selling arguments are not adapted. So my advice is that you need to be supported by an expert to help you by detecting finally the weakness or the dark side that block you in your selling success. Donc my answer is you have to do the introspection.
Okay. So, well, this was the answer for our Facebook follower, how to find customers, to start by introspection. So,
Mohammed Taha Azoum.
Yeah, thank you. My question is, can we use this approach to sell complex services in a B2B environment?
Of course. Service, like you have a solution, right? Of course, I think this NUT process is universal. It's adapted to B2C, B2B, and B2J, and also whether it's a service, whether it's a product, whether like it's material product or immaterial one. Definitely. But to be more accurate to the answer, the intelligence of the seller is to be able to finally to have this smart and this intelligence to when I have to use the selling by gain and when I have to use the selling by pain, and also the intelligence of detecting the need of the customers before starting the prospection in order to personalize the selling approach. This is finally the key to success that will let you close the sale. The theoretical lecture as this one is just to give you the tools, but the intelligence of the practical is to adapt these tools to his context, to his personal situation. There is no universal and package adapted to everyone. We just give the tools, we give the marks, we just give some brain marks, some strategies, but the intelligence, the key to success is to use these tools and to adapt it efficiently in your context.
Absolutely, it's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So thank you. Any other questions from our participants that in Zoom or on Facebook? Oh, everything was clear.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So just in between, don't forget, please, to answer to the poll that we have suggested to you for Zoom participants. It helps us to improve our service, improve the quality of our work. And now, if there is no other question, maybe Mr. Benchkron, you can give a final word about.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss. You are so, how to say, excellent moderator.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the participants, for all the people who have attended my lecture. It's always a big pleasure to spend constructive and positive time with all of you. I hope that Morocco will overcome this difficult period, and remember that only the power of love, the power of positivities will always take and are the biggest winner and will take over from negativities, dishonesties, and all the negative behaviors. So to believe on the humanistic values is for me to show effectively our faith to our Creator. Thank you so much for your time, and see you next time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Benchkron. You always teach us more than we are expecting from you. Thank you very much for this evening. Please don't forget, we have another webinar at 8 p.m. Of l'art de prendre des décisions pour les chefs d'entreprise by Mr. Zuhir Oussama. Donc, tout de suite à 20h, nous avons rendez-vous avec un autre webinaire du club CDD de l'art de prendre des décisions pour les chefs d'entreprise animé par Mr. Zuhir Oussama. Thank you very much, Mr. Benchkoun. Another thanks to Mr. Drisdrief, our president, and all coaching and training committee, which is helping in all these webinars and work. Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye.